Welcome back to Megaman X2, everyone. In the last episode, we took down the first two of the X-Hunter stages, besting both Violan and Surges, the latter of which who gave us a hell of a time. Now, between then and now, I will tell you, I have gone back to the Desert Base stage and refilled my sub-tanks as well as my Giga Crush energy, so as to spare you all the tediousness of watching me do so. I did not, however, garner any more 1-ups. This interesting music right here. Very slow version of it, or I should say the original version of it. A much faster version of this was used in Megaman X6 in Gates Laboratory stages. How am I supposed... There we go. I was going to say, how am I supposed to get that thing? I know clearly I need to use the strike chain, because I has to grab it. Now right here... Dagnabbit. Right here is where the big secret of this game comes in. Oh, never mind. It's this level, just not right this area. It's actually right here. Anyway, the big secret of this game, very similar to the big secret of the first game, comes in. I would say that this one is less obfuscated and hidden. As the requirements to get it are... or the method to get it is a little less arbitrary. Whereas in the first X game, you had to do one level many, many times, with no indication that it even existed. Here, it's just an excessively well-hidden area in the final stage. And maneuvering these platforms can be a pain in the ass. Now, I can't kill these guys, at least not both of them. I need to use one, and the Crystal Hunter ability. You little bastard! Come back. I am not done with you. Create a platform for myself to be able to reach this ladder here. What do you mean I'm facing the wrong way? Now you do need to have all 8 heart tanks and all 4 sub-tanks. And obviously, all the bosses defeated, as you can't get here otherwise. Oh, dagnabbit. See, that is part of the problem with this area, is very spiky. Fortunately, it does respawn you right up here. And an infinite number of retries thanks to respawning health pickups, or excuse me, 1-up pickups there. As well as this being an easy place to farm energy to fill your sub-tanks, though clearly not nearly as easy as one of the specialty zones like that found in the Desert Base stage. Now this can be a rather tricky area right here, as you have to jump, dash, drop down that corridor of spikes, turn, and then use the speed burner to dash in the opposite direction. Woo, that was close. And then slide down this wall here. Eventually, you will come to find false wall, beyond which you find this, the fifth and final capsule of this game. Wow, you are so cool. I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy. Step inside for a special surprise. Certainly more enthusiastic and less cosplay than the first one. Our hands shimmer and burn with power of the Shoryuken. Much like the Hadouken of the first game, it is insanely powerful, but can only be done via a input command. I don't know why I'm doing that. You have to be at full health, by the way. If you get hurt during any of that and you go down there with less than a full HP bar, the capsule will not appear. Ow. That's quite enough of that, thank you. In fact, I'm actually going to go ahead and burn a sub-tank to show you just how insanely powerful this weapon is. This boss would normally flit left and right and drop spiky blocks on you. With the Shoryuken, is very quickly dispatched. I think he might have shot at you too. I always get the Shoryuken when I play through this game, so I don't really remember how he fights that well. He's more than a cakewalk. I am glad, however, that you can land on the spikes and it won't kill you. Because I believe landing on them would normally kill you. Let's quickly make our way back. Restore that which we so carelessly lost. And our desire to see the awesome. Now, the specifics of the Shoryuken actually allow for a very interesting glitch in this game, and I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I think I may have been one of the first people to find this, as I believe I'll have to check it again, and I will put it down in the description box below when I found this and when I reported it to a site at the time, I believe GameFAQs. There's also a video of it up, done by my good friend Tinks. And this glitch can offset where your position is during a cutscene near the end of the game. And being offset like that has some rather interesting effects. I always found it kind of odd that this secondary teleporter was here and already destroyed. At any rate, let us make our way to the token boss gauntlet. Now this is the only boss you cannot defeat in one hit with the Shoryuken, because the first hit can only deal half of his health bar, because his health bar is divided into two halves. That being said, he still poses very little challenge. Who's next? Why, a sponge! who makes things all too easy for us by lifting himself in the air first. This is going to be the fastest boss gauntlet of all time. The least fastest boss gauntlet of all time in my playthroughs. Now, I do have to be wary of Bubble Crab's bubble shield. Oh no! As the Shoryuken will not be able to... Well, it will be able to penetrate it, but it grants him a brief moment of invulnerability, which protects him from the follow-through hit. Nearly committed suicide there. Will it be enough? It will. We are restored to full health. Next is the starting immediately at blue Flame Stag. Well, blast. Certainly more than capable of scaling the wall a great deal faster than we. This time only 2 health ups were required. Who have we next? Dagnabbit! Just get rid of your little ability there. Tempted to burn a sub-tank just to make this fight quicker. Now that he's on the ceiling, I'm going to succumb to that desire. Yes, fortunately you don't need 4 full sub-tanks, only a full health bar to perform the Shoryuken. Similarly to the Hadoken. Who's next? Crystal Snail! This one could prove a little difficult. Not to kill, mind you, just to use the Shoryuken on. Oh, good heavens! Somehow he managed to survive. This is not the first time I've seen this anomaly, but it's always surprising when it occurs, nevertheless. Yes. Unfortunately, unlike the Hadouken, it is not a simple one-hit instant kill. It is rather extremely high damage per second of contact. And so, in the rare one-off case like that, they do manage to survive. But we were able to refill our health and even had one piece of candy left to put in our sub-tank, or bag, however you wish to look at it. Kind of wish he would have started on the hill instead of me. But in any event, we still managed to land the hit. And as such, 4 small pieces of candy are our reward. See, the Shoryuken actually makes for a very good mobility option as well. And for some strange reason, I find its input command more reliably able to be performed than that of the Hadouken. Oh no. Get the perfect opportunity, too. Well, if at first you don't succeed, just rip through them a second time. Truly, the Hadouken and Shoryuken made these games far, far easier, but then I suppose that is to be expected of the super secret weapon. It has been a while, Megaman X. What? Sigma? It seems that the X-Hunters have failed, but don't worry. I have arranged for some new toys for you to play with. So we make our way out, and to the final stage. But that will have to wait for the next video. The final video. Well, no, I suppose we have time, given the extreme speed afforded to us by the Shoryuken. We can make a quick pit stop here at the desert to refill our sub-tanks. Well, sub-tank, singular. I dislike that I cannot fire a regular charged shot while dashing. It stops me. Now, this is definitely what I mean when I say farming done right. If you're going to make farming a potentially necessary thing, or even just very alluring thing, make some way to make it easier, even if that way is somewhat obfuscated. Alright, let's move on to this, our final challenge. And even though we're still at the Arctic base, apparently we're also back at the central computer. Right down to the security lights. Now see here, pain in the ass. Come now, don't make me beg for it. I know you can drop health. You know you can drop health. And you know that's what I want. Alright, enough of that. I have not the patience. Now, interestingly, this is still here. And, interestingly enough, there's nothing up here. So we can see that this is an actual, just complete reuse of the assets that made this stage. Thank you. And the traps right down to the secret area where the goodies were stored once before. Woo! It was a little scary. Even this area here, though, there's no box to ride, so you can't actually get back up into this area, as you drop straight down after a Shoryuken. There's no way to avoid that. Now, I am actually going to do a little naughty here. And save my game position, as this can be very, very tricky to pull off. Now, as you can see, by our relative position to Sigma and this dark-colored copy of Zero, we are clearly further in the room than we should be. We can attribute this to the strange locking you in place properties of the descent after performing a Shoryuken. And as such, we have some rather strange effects caused by this cutscene and being out of place. You see, had we not acquired Zero's parts before we got to the X-Hunter stages, Sigma would have resurrected the true Zero and would be having a fight with him right now. That being said, that means that his attacks actually have collision and damage properties coded to them. And while that first volley was purely aesthetic, for some reason, this second volley is not. It still has those properties and can damage us, thus setting us free to move around while the dialogue box is still on the screen. Needless to say, you shouldn't normally be able to do this. Which also allows us to be out of place when he drops us down this hole, or rather opens this hole for us to drop down. Now normally we'd be locked in place again right now, because of a cutscene here with Sigma. But if you end the dialogue just before his dialogue starts, it sets you free, once again, to move around. Ah, Sigma, abusing iframes to avoid instant death. But it can't save him forever. Hitting him with the Shoryuken can be a bit of a pain because of those rather frequent and long iframes he gets. And so we move on to fight his true form. Utilizing the SFX chip, once again we get a wireframe version of Sigma. But it is equally, if not more, susceptible to the Shoryuken. Look at that discolored health. Megaman X, I have lost to you again. Each defeat only makes me stronger and serves to bring you closer to your ultimate doom. Something is not right. I don't quite understand. Why did Zero... He is last of the Doctor's creations. This our first hint as to the true nature of Zero. And so we escaped the central computer, the self-destructing facility hot on our heels. As we teleport back to the ocean's edge alongside our good friend. Joined by his friend Zero, Megaman X gazes out over the sea. Sigma has once again been destroyed, and X wonders if the fighting will truly end. Painfully slow scrolling text. Was Dr. Light's dream of a world in which Reploids and humans lived together in peace merely a dream? The price of peace is often high, X thinks to himself. Who or what must be sacrificed for it to become reality? Well, in the vastly far-flung future, we know the answer to that. And when the time comes, will he be able to do it? Well, when the time truly comes, you won't even be around. The future holds the answers, or a painful confrontation, a fight to the death with your own best friend. As we go through the staff roll, there is one more minor change to the ending, depending on whether or not we acquired Zero's parts. When the Capcom logo appears, it'll either be Zero or Dark Zero, that is to say the dark copy of Zero, that dashes by and does his triple attack upon the logo. Overall, I'd have to say X2 is a very, very worthy successor to the original game. It's still got that interesting secret, that excellent blend of optional power-ups that can bring you back time and time again to play the game. Get a little bit more story sprinkled into it this time, which I personally like because it's not too heavy-handed. It's not stopping you during the majority of your gameplay. Overall, I'd have to say, yes, Mega Man X2, excellent, excellent game. A worthy successor in every way. The only problem that I have is that the head power-up to the armor, as I said before, could be a little redundant once you've actually played through the game several times, but that's really not too big of a problem, as until you've memorized all of the secrets, it could be a invaluable tool. The usage of the SFX chip was minimal, but I'm kind of glad that they didn't rely on it too much, as while it was impressive, it was, especially for its time, it was still not something that meshed well with the 2D sprites. Zero. Power and speed unknown, as well as X. Speaking of Zero, I believe we're about to see him go dashing past us. Oh, maybe not. Thanks for playing. Presented by Capcom. Now, as I said, there are some alternate routes. In fact, this game actually has two alternate different, I guess you'd call it endings. The ending is the same, but story segments near the end. And as such, we're actually going to go ahead and go the other route now and have that optional final fight. Well, penultimate fight. Alright, EX Battle 1. Fighting Agile. We're fighting Agile's second form, without usage of the Shoryuken. Huh. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've had this fight. I don't remember that bizarre shooting towards the screen move. Regardless, he's still not very challenging. Not by a long shot. Oh, you can actually stand on those before he drops. Goodbye, Agile. You should have stuck with your beam katana. Pink as it was. EX Fight number 2. If you don't collect all of Zero's parts before the X Hunter stages, you're gonna have to fight him. Now, I do have the Shoryuken, but let me tell you, unless you're really skilled, it ain't gonna do you much good in this fight. The dialogue doesn't really change. Only difference is instead of Zero blasting out that left wall and coming to save you, and then starting the second half of the dialogue, Sigma immediately takes off, and you immediately get into a fight. Now, as you saw there, your weaker attacks and even your charged attack, if improperly timed, can be completely and totally just deflected by Zero. He's quite the powerful Reploid. Now, if you stand close to him, he'll constantly do the Green Buster shot, which can be cheesed, but more interesting than that is that your Green Buster shot and his Green Buster shot will cancel each other out. You do get a little different dialogue here, though. Zero. Do you remember me? Yeah, I guess so. Sorry to cause you so much trouble. X, you need to go after Sigma. I'll try and destroy the main computer. Another note, the reason that in both versions, Zero is going after the main computer while you take on Sigma as opposed to fighting alongside you, is that Magna Centipede, who was also in this stage, the reason he was here is because he was infecting the entirety of the mainframe computer with Sigma's virus. So, if Zero doesn't hurry up and destroy it, it's gonna spread to, well, every damn thing. Take care of yourself, Zero. I don't have time to put you back together again. I'll be okay. Get going, X. Here it is, X. Sigma lies just ahead. And that'll just about do it for Megaman X2. There is one other little secret, however. You remember that spot in the credits earlier where I thought I was supposed to see Zero go zipping by? Well, that does happen, but only if you beat the game without collecting any of the armor power-ups. Well, with all that out of the way, I'll see all of you on the other side.